One very interesting law that I want to share with you today is the law of polarity, my dear. It sounds very grand, but it is actually something you have seen every single day of your life. Every stick has two ends. Every coin has two sides. Every road has a left and a right. Where there is up, there is down. Where there is night, there is day. Where there is loss, there is also some kind of opening. The event itself is simply what it is. Your mind is the one that rushes in and stamps it with a label. This is terrible. This should not be happening. This is the end. And the moment we do that, we feel as if life has turned against us. I want you to notice that the same situation in two different people can create two completely different stories. One person says, "This is the worst thing that ever happened to me." And another quietly whispers, "This was painful, but it showed me what I truly deserve." The law of polarity is simply saying both stories live in the same event. The event is neutral. The meaning is chosen. When you fight the event, when you fight what has already occurred, you are really fighting with a wall. You can push and push and push, and all you get is exhaustion and bruised hands. Harmony begins the moment you put your hands down and say, "All right, this is what is here. Now how do I want to meet it?" You do not have to love every experience. You do not have to pretend that hurt does not hurt. You are not asked to smile at cruelty or dance with injustice. What you are invited to do is to stop adding extra suffering by arguing with what has already happened. That is the first soft doorway back to inner harmony. So let us gently build a little inside-out harmony map together. The first step is accept the fact. I know that for many people the word acceptance sounds like surrendering, giving up, or saying, "It's fine, it didn't matter." That is not what I am asking of you. Acceptance is simply this: it has already happened. I cannot go back into yesterday and rearrange it, but I can choose how I hold it in my heart today. When you refuse to accept, you keep the movie playing on a loop in your mind. You replay the words, replay the scene, replay the moment where you wish you had said something different or taken another path. Your body does not know it is only remembering. It reacts as if it is happening again and again. No wonder you feel tired. In acceptance, you gently close the door on the argument with reality. You might say, "Yes, this happened. Yes, I wish it had been different. Yes, it hurts. And yes, I am willing to stop fighting the fact that it is now in my past." Can you feel the difference? You are not agreeing that it was good. You are agreeing that it is over. And in that moment, your energy begins to come back to you. Instead of being scattered in the past, it returns to your body, to your breath, to this very moment where change is still possible. Once you have softly said, "It happened," you are ready for step 2, harvest the good. This is where the law of polarity becomes a friend. Imagine that every experience in your life is a field. At first glance, it may look like a field of weeds, disappointment, betrayal, failure, embarrassment. And yet somewhere in that field, there are also small shoots of wisdom, strength, clarity, new direction. If you walk away from the entire field, you leave those gifts behind. Harmony does not mean you pretend the weeds were roses. Harmony means you are willing to walk back into the field with a basket and say, "I will not drag this pain with me forever, but I will take the lessons. I will take the clarity. I will take the parts that make me more fully myself." So we ask very loving questions. What did this show me about my power? What did I learn about what I will no longer tolerate? What did I discover about how deeply I can feel and still survive? What new boundaries became clear? What new dreams were born out of this ending? These questions are not about blaming yourself. They are about harvesting your own wisdom. You become a gardener of your experiences, the hurt, the confusion, the mistakes. They are the compost, the new choices, the deeper self-respect, the greater compassion. These are the flowers. And you, my dear, are the one who decides what you carry forward. Harmony is not everything that happened to me was wonderful. Harmony is everything that happened to me can serve me now. Then we come to step 3, forgive the rest. This is the step your mind may resist the most. Part of you wants to keep the file open, to keep all the evidence, to stay ready for court so that you can prove, I was right to be hurt, I was right to be angry, I was right to be disappointed. And perhaps you were, but holding that file open means you are holding that energy open in your own body, in your own heart. Forgiveness is not saying, it was okay. Forgiveness is saying, I will not use my precious life force to carry this anymore. You may need to forgive other people, yes, but very often the deepest forgiveness is toward yourself, for not knowing better, for staying too long, for leaving too soon, for not speaking up, for speaking in anger, for being human. I want you to hear this. You did the best you could with the understanding and resources you had at the time. When you know better, you do better, and you are learning now. So we begin to release, not all at once, but little by little. We might close our eyes and see the situation in front of us like a picture in our hands. We thank it for what it taught us. We take out the wisdom, we take out the clarity, and then we imagine placing the rest in a stream of light that carries it away. You do not have to drag it through every year of your life. You do not have to keep reopening the wound to prove that it was real. Harmony is choosing to travel lighter. Right here in this moment, we can practice our new inner code together. Very softly, as if we are speaking to the deepest part of your being, we say, I accept, I harvest the good, I release the rest. And then again, letting it sink a little deeper. I accept, I harvest the good, I release the rest. One more time, with a little more breath and a little more willingness. I accept, I harvest the good, I release the rest. You do not have to feel ready. You only need to be willing to stop fighting the fact that the past has already happened. Willing to look for what has grown in you because of it. Willing to set down what no longer needs to be carried. This 3-step map is not a one-time performance. It is a way of walking through your days. Something difficult arises. You breathe and say, it is here. Then, what can I learn? And finally, what can I lovingly let go of? Again and again and again. Accept, harvest, release. This is how you come back into harmony with yourself, by no longer turning against your own life, but working with it. And when you live that way on the inside, you will notice that the universe begins to feel softer on the outside, because you are no longer in a constant war with what is. Sometimes I like to joke that if our bodies could file a complaint, your jaw would probably send in the first letter, and your shoulders and chest would add a few pages of their own, and underneath the humor there is a very deep truth. Your body has been trying to talk to you for a very long time. Your jaw clenches when you are biting back words, when you are holding on for dear life, when you are trying to manage everyone and everything, and it is as if that little joint is saying, I am tired of holding all of this. Your shoulders tighten and creep up toward your ears when you have quietly decided that you must carry the whole world, not only your responsibilities, but everyone else's feelings and expectations too. And they whisper, could we please put some of this down? Your chest, your beautiful heart space, squeezes and aches when you feel misunderstood or afraid or on the verge of loss. And in its own language it says, I am scared to be hurt again, so I will close. I want you to hear this very clearly, my dear. Your body is not your enemy. Your body is your most loyal messenger. When you live in harmony with yourself, you do not ignore these messages and you do not shame them. You learn to listen, you learn to respond with kindness, and you allow those tiny shifts in jaw and shoulder and breath to become doorways back to peace. Imagine just for a moment that your jaw is hanging on little golden hinges and you are allowed to loosen those hinges. You are allowed to let the lips part and the tongue rest and the teeth stop pressing against each other. And as you do that, you are quietly telling life, in this moment, I do not have to bite down on everything. I can let go a little. Imagine your shoulders dropping down and back as if invisible. Loving hands are smoothing them away from your ears, and you are taking invisible backpacks off your back, bags labeled their opinion, their crisis, their approval, and placing them gently on the ground where they belong. Imagine that as your shoulders lower, your breath deepens, and you realize that you can love people deeply without carrying them on your back. When you do this, you create space in your nervous system. You create space in your schedule. You create space in your energy field. And life suddenly has room to send you new experiences, new connections, new opportunities that match this lighter way of being. You are not becoming careless. You are becoming clear. You are not abandoning others. You are ending the habit of abandoning yourself first. And all of this begins in places as humble and concrete as the muscles around your jaw and the weight across your shoulders. Now let's come home to the tender center of your chest, the place that tightens most quickly and softens most slowly, the place that remembers every time love felt unsafe and every time you learned to protect yourself by closing. When your chest is tight and your heart feels wrapped in barbed wire, you may think, something is wrong with me. I am too sensitive. I should be over this by now. But I want you to try on a different story. Your heart is not misbehaving. It is guarding something precious, and it simply has not felt safe enough to relax. Harmony in this space does not mean forcing yourself to be open with everyone. It does not mean pretending that hurt never happened or that betrayal was acceptable. It means beginning to treat your own feelings with the softness you always wish someone would have given you. Instead of saying, why am I like this? You can begin to say, of course I feel this way. I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be respected. That little shift, away from judgment and toward understanding, opens the door just a crack, and through that crack comes a tiny beam of light. You might place your hand on your heart and notice the warmth of your own palm and the rise and fall of your own breath, and realize that in this very moment, you are here, you are alive, and you are capable of offering yourself the comfort you have been waiting for from everyone else. You do not have to heal your whole past today. You only have to be willing to be a little kinder to your heart than you were yesterday. As that kindness becomes a habit, The chest begins to loosen, the breath begins to deepen, and the universe, which has always been responding to your inner state, begins to send you people and situations that match this new softness. Drama becomes less interesting, genuine connection becomes more magnetic, and you find yourself less pulled into storms that used to sweep you away. When your body feels safer with you, life feels safer around you. A relaxed jaw tells life, I no longer need to control every detail. Relaxed shoulders tell life, I am willing to carry only what is truly mine. And a softened heart tells life, I am ready to participate again, with wisdom and with love. This is how harmony in the body becomes harmony with the universe, not through perfection, not through forcing, but through thousands of small, loving choices to listen, to soften, and to honor the messages your beautiful body has been sending you all along. Sometimes I say with a smile that the stomach is the shy poet of the body. It writes little knots and twists instead of words, and if you read it carefully, you can discover exactly where you have been trying so hard to digest life all alone. When your belly is tight, when your stomach clenches or feels heavy and restless, very often it is not just about food. It is about experiences you have not yet made peace with, conversations that did not sit well, worries about tomorrow that you keep chewing on in the middle of the night. You may notice that when something happens that you don't like, or that you didn't expect, the first thing you do is say no inside, even if your mouth says nothing, and that inner no can show up as a little storm in the stomach. I want you to hear this gently. You are not weak because your body reacts. Your body is telling the truth about how overwhelmed you feel. Harmony here does not mean forcing the stomach to be quiet or pretending you are fine. Harmony means starting to say to yourself very softly, yes, this happened, and in this moment I am safe to feel and to breathe. When you accept the fact that something has happened without adding a layer of blame or catastrophe, your digestive system finally gets permission to rest. It does not have to churn stories all night trying to fix the past. You might even place a warm hand over your belly and imagine you are comforting a little child who has eaten too fast and is now uncomfortable, and you say, it's all right, my love. We are going to slow down. We are going to be kind. We are going to let this pass through. The moment you move from fighting reality to gently acknowledging it, your whole inner weather shifts. The breath deepens, the jaw loosens, the stomach begins to unclench, and you discover that peace is not in controlling everything. Peace is in how you hold what is already here. From that more relaxed, settled place, you are able to make wiser choices. You respond instead of react. You make one clear phone call instead of 10 panicked ones. You take one grounded step instead of spinning in fear. This is how the universe responds to harmony in your body. When you are no longer acting from the turbulence in your belly, but from the calm that comes after you have accepted what is, your actions carry a different vibration, less desperate, more deliberate, and the results you create are kinder, smoother, closer to what you truly desire. And then there is your throat, that delicate bridge between your heart and the outer world, the place where so many truths have lined up, waiting for their chance to be spoken, and so many times have had to turn back and hide. You know that feeling of a lump in the throat, don't you? That tightness that appears right when you most want to speak, when you most need to say no, or stop, or this hurts me. And instead you swallow, you smile, you change the subject, and the body records another moment of self-abandonment. Your throat is not betraying you when it tightens. It is showing you that your inner and outer selves are out of sync. that there is a truth inside that has not yet been given a voice. I want you to begin imagining your throat not as a fragile, guilty place, but as a sacred doorway for honesty, kindness, and clear boundaries. Harmony here does not mean saying everything to everyone. It means learning to say the right things, in the right way, at the right time, starting with yourself. You might practice alone at first, because that is the most important audience you will ever have. You stand before the mirror, you look into your own eyes, and you say, "This is how I really feel," and you allow the words to come, messy or clumsy or imperfect, just to prove to your nervous system that you are capable of hearing your own truth. Then when you are ready, you bring this into your conversations, and instead of swallowing every time your needs arise, you try simple, gentle sentences such as, "I feel tired, I need some rest," or "I'm not comfortable with that," or "I need a little time to think." These are not attacks. They are invitations to clarity. The more you speak this way, the more your throat learns that truth is not a threat. It is a release. You may still feel the flutter of fear at first. That is all right, my darling. But underneath that flutter, something else is growing. Self-respect, self-trust, a sense that I am willing to stand with myself even when it is uncomfortable. And because life is always listening, because the universe responds not to our masks, but to our frequency, people and situations begin to rearrange around this clearer signal. Some relationships will deepen because they finally know where you stand. Others will move to the background because they were only ever sustained by your silence. You will begin to notice that the more honest you are, the less confused your outer world becomes, and the less you are forced to decode mixed messages or carry the weight of unspoken resentment. When you give your truth a voice, you give your life a chance to align. So you see, harmony with yourself is not an abstract spiritual idea floating somewhere far away. It is as close and concrete as your stomach, as specific as your throat, as immediate as this next breath. Each time your belly tightens around an experience, you have an opportunity to choose a different pattern. Instead of worrying, you can pause. Instead of rehearsing worst-case scenarios, you can gently acknowledge what is and ask, what would calm wisdom do next? Each time your throat feels tight, you can recognize that moment not as evidence that you are weak, but as a doorway. You can either continue swallowing your truth, or you can begin to speak in small, kind, clear ways that include your needs in the conversation of life. This is the inside-out harmony we are cultivating together. You listen to your body instead of scolding it. You accept reality instead of arguing with it. You speak truth instead of burying it. And slowly your inner world and outer world begin to match. You may find that your days still contain challenges. Of course they do. That is part of being alive. But you are no longer meeting those challenges from a place of chronic tension and self-betrayal. You are meeting them from a body that feels heard and a voice that feels included. And from that place, the universe can finally cooperate with you because you are no longer sending mixed signals. You are not saying yes while your entire nervous system screams no. You are not smiling while your stomach twists. You are not nodding while your throat closes. Instead, there is a growing congruence between thought, feeling, word, and action, and that congruence radiates out like a steady tone that life can harmonize with. Remember, my dear, your mind is a tool. You are much more than your mind, and your body is a teacher. You are much more than your body. When you learn to read the soft language of the stomach and the throat with love instead of fear, You are no longer a victim of your reactions. You become a compassionate caretaker of your own experience. This is harmony, not a life without waves, but an inner sea that knows how to return to calm again and again. Have you noticed how, on some days, it's not your stomach or your shoulders that speak first? It's your forehead, that gentle heaviness behind the eyes, that tight band across the brow, that feeling as though your mind is a crowded room with no doors or windows. When the forehead tightens, when the thoughts keep circling the same hallway over and over, you are usually not just thinking. You are trying to rescue yourself with sheer mental effort. You are searching for safety by thinking faster, harder, louder. You go over the same conversation. You rehearse the same future disaster. You replay the same regret. And the more you think, the less relief you feel. My dear, your mind is not trying to hurt you when it does this. It is trying to protect you with the only tool it knows: control. But a mind that is trying to control everything will eventually exhaust itself. And that is what you feel as that pressure in your forehead, that buzzing behind the eyebrows, that fog that makes it hard to see the simple things right in front of you. This is where our harmony practice becomes so precious. Instead of allowing the mind to run wild with 10,000 questions, you come back to 3 simple movements, like a soft inner ritual: accept, harvest, release. First, you gently tell yourself the truth. This has already happened, or I don't know yet, or right now I only have this peace. You are not giving up. You are grounding yourself in reality so you can stop fighting what is already here. Then you ask, what can I learn or see or do from exactly where I am? This is harvesting the good, the insight, the clarity hidden inside the mess. And finally, you deliberately let go of the rest, the parts you cannot control, the timelines you cannot force, the reactions of other people that are not your job to manage. You might even say in your own words, I accept what is, I take what is useful, and I place the rest in life's hands. Do you feel how much kinder that is than sitting there frowning at yourself, demanding that your mind produce the perfect answer in the next 5 minutes? When you begin to practice this, something beautiful starts to happen in that tender space behind your forehead. Instead of being a battlefield, it becomes a garden again. The thoughts no longer crash into each other. They line up. This is what is so. This is what I can do today. This is what I am willing to leave to a higher wisdom. Your mind loves structure. It relaxes when it knows there is a process. Overthinking is often not too many thoughts. It is too few containers. When you give your mind a gentle map, accept, harvest, release, you are telling it, you are not alone up here. We have a way of moving. As your thinking slows down, you may notice little moments you used to miss. The way a certain phone call comes at the exact time you were wondering what to do. The way a sentence in a book answers the question you asked before sleep. The way a coincidence opens a door that your planning never could. We call these synchronicities, but really they are moments when your inner world and the outer world line up just enough for you to see that you are being guided. They were always there, but when your brow was clenched and your thoughts were screaming, you walked right past them. Now, as the forehead softens, as the mind is no longer in emergency mode, your perception clears. You are able to say, oh, here is a little sign. Here is a little confirmation. Here is a little nudge. The universe did not suddenly start speaking. You stopped shouting long enough to hear it. When your mind rests in order instead of panic, life has room to answer. And then we come all the way down to your feet, those faithful companions that have carried you through every day of your life, often without a thank you. Restless feet, bouncing legs, the urge to pace or to run away, these are not random habits. They are signs that a part of you does not feel grounded, does not quite trust that the earth will hold you, that life will support you if you stand still for a moment. You may notice that when you are anxious about the future, your feet want to move, your legs jiggle under the table, you feel pulled toward the door, toward your phone, toward any form of somewhere else. It is as if your body is saying, if I can just get out of here, then I will be safe. But my darling, you take your nervous system with you wherever you go. Running from room to room does not create safety. Learning to occupy the space you are in with presence does. Harmony in your feet begins with something very simple, something almost childlike, noticing that there is ground beneath you. You might try it right now. Feel the soles of your feet. Notice where they touch the floor. Imagine tiny roots reaching down from your heels, your toes, your arches, connecting you to the solidness underneath. You don't have to visualize anything elaborate, just enough to remember that you are held. You are not floating in space. You are supported by this moment, by this chair, by this floor, by this planet. From this grounded place, the question is no longer, how do I fix my whole life today? Instead, it becomes, what is the next kind step for me to take? You see, your feet are not designed to leap a lifetime in one go. They are wonderfully, beautifully designed for one step at a time. Overwhelm often comes from trying to make your feet live 10 years ahead of your heart. When you bring your attention down into your legs, into your ankles, into those precious toes, and you ask, what is one small step I can actually take from here? You reclaim a kind of power that anxiety can never give you. Maybe the next step is to send one email, or to drink a glass of water, or to go for a short walk, or to make that appointment you have been avoiding. The step itself may look small from the outside, but on the inside it is enormous, because you are sending a new message through your whole body. I trust the ground beneath me. I trust myself to move. I trust that I will be shown the next step when I arrive there. You do not have to see the whole path lit up. You only need enough light for the space in front of your feet. And here is the miracle. When you start moving from this grounded confidence, one clear step, then another, life begins to meet you. A person appears with the exact information you needed. A new opportunity arrives at the moment you have made space for it. The resources you once chased begin to show up because your energy is no longer scattered in 100 directions. It is aligned with the direction of your feet. You can think of it this way. Your overthinking mind often tries to live 5 stories above the ground, planning, predicting, worrying, while your poor feet are down here waiting, ready to take action when you finally give a clear signal. Harmony comes when mind and feet become friends. The mind says, here is what I know to be true right now. Here is the lesson I am taking. Here is what I am willing to lay down. And the feet reply, all right, then this is where we will walk today, just here, just now. You no longer stand frozen at the crossroads because you think you must choose perfectly for all time. You remember that you can adjust your direction as you go, that you can be guided mid-step, that movement itself allows grace to enter. An anchored body and a clear mind make you sensitive to the gentle currents of life. You feel when something is off and you pause. You feel when something is right and you lean in. Instead of demanding guarantees, you cultivate a quiet confidence. Whatever happens, I will be able to take care of myself. Whatever happens, I will learn. Whatever happens, I will be shown. This is not naive. It is deeply practical spirituality. So as we gather all of this together, jaw, shoulders, heart, stomach, throat, forehead, feet, I want you to see your body as a loving orchestra, not a problem to be fixed. Each part has been speaking to you in the only way it knew how. Tightness, heaviness, restlessness. These have been your signals, not your enemies. And now you are learning a new language with them. You are discovering that when the mind stops attacking itself, the forehead relaxes. When the truth starts to be spoken, the throat opens. When reality is accepted, the stomach softens. When boundaries are set, the shoulders lighten. When love returns to your own heart, the chest expands. When you trust the next step, the feet feel stable. You're not trying to bully your body into silence. You are inviting it into partnership. You might even whisper to yourself, "Thank you, body, for all the ways you have tried to protect me. I am listening now. We can choose differently." In that simple act of gratitude, a wave of harmony begins. And here is the beautiful secret I want to leave with you in this part of our journey together. When your body is no longer braced for attack, when it is not constantly on guard and on edge, you finally begin to hear the deeper rhythm of life. And the rhythm of life always knows the way. So now that you've begun to listen to your body and soften the battles in your mind, let's walk together into the sweetest part of this journey, the place where your inner harmony and the rhythm of the universe meet. My dear, harmony is not only something you feel inside, it is also something you begin to see reflected around you. When you practice those 3 little steps we spoke about, accept the fact, harvest the good, forgive the rest, you are not just cleaning up your emotions, you are tuning your whole being like an instrument. Inside the noise of, why did this happen? What's wrong with me? What if it never changes? Slowly turns down, and a quieter voice begins to rise. All right, this is where I am. This is what I'm learning. This is what I'm willing to release. That shift may look small from the outside, but in the language of energy, it is huge. You move from resistance to relationship, from fighting life to walking with it. Have you noticed that on days when you are very tense inside, everything seems to bump you? Traffic, comments, delays. And on days when you are softer and clearer inside, the very same world feels different. The weather may be the same, the people may be the same, but you are not the same. Peace inside changes the way life touches you. As you keep choosing this inner harmony, something almost magical begins to happen in what you might call the outside world. You start to experience little intersections, moments where what you quietly needed on the inside meets something that appears on the outside at just the right time. You think, I really need clarity about this. And a conversation opens that gives you exactly that clarity. You decide, I am ready to heal this pattern. And suddenly an old book falls off a shelf, or a video appears, or a person enters your life with just the words you needed to hear. Some people call these coincidences. I like to think of them as love notes from life, letting you know that you are not alone in your process. Remember, you are not begging the universe to notice you. You are becoming available to what has always been here. When you are full of inner war, it is as though your signal is scrambled. One moment yes, one moment no, one moment I'm not worthy, the next moment, please give this to me. But when you begin to settle, when you are honest with yourself, when you are willing to see the good and release what you cannot carry, your signal becomes clear. In simple words, you begin to say to life, "This is who I am learning to be. This is what I am ready for. This is what I am no longer willing to agree to." A clear signal is very attractive. The universe responds to clarity the way a radio responds to a tuned station. Suddenly the static drops and the music comes through. Now I want you to hear this very gently. Life does not need you to be perfect in order to respond to you. Perfection is another version of war. The universe is not standing there with a clipboard, waiting until you never have a bad day, never feel afraid, never make a mistake, and then finally saying, "All right, now you qualify for harmony." No, that's the old story of punishment and reward. We are not doing that anymore. What life is asking from you is something very different. Honesty, willingness, and a little bit of peace. Honesty to say, "Yes, I am still learning." Willingness to say, "I am ready to do my part from love, not from fear." A little bit of peace to say, "I don't have every answer, but I am willing to trust the next step." In that state, your nervous system softens, your breathing slows, and you become much more sensitive to guidance. An idea that would have rushed past you when you were anxious now lands gently, and you notice it. A supportive person you might have dismissed when you were busy judging yourself now feels safe enough to let in. An opportunity that looked too small now becomes clearly the doorway you were waiting for. The universe does not require your perfection. The universe responds beautifully to your alignment. Think of harmony as an agreement between your inner world and the larger life that holds you. Inside, you agree to stop abusing yourself with criticism every time something goes wrong. Instead, you ask, "What is this teaching me about my power?" Inside, you agree to listen to your feelings as information rather than as verdicts. You say, "I notice I am hurt. That means there is a tender place to care for." Inside, you agree to treat your body as an ally rather than an enemy. You listen when your shoulders say, "Too heavy," when your stomach says, "Too much fear," when your jaw says, "Too much control." Each time you choose this kinder internal response, you are stepping into harmony. And as you step, you'll start to see the reflection. The kinds of people you attract shift. The conversations you have deepened. The way problems resolve becomes less violent, more graceful. You notice that you no longer have to chase so hard. Some things begin to come towards you. You are not suddenly living a life without challenges. No one does. But you are no longer vibrating in constant conflict. You meet challenges from a different level. Instead of, "Why is life doing this to me?" you find yourself saying, "All right, life, I see this. Walk with me through it. Show me how this can serve my good." That is harmony. That is partnership. Take a small breath with me now, right where you are. And as you exhale, imagine that the line between you and life softens just a little. You are not a separate, lonely little mind trying to push a giant universe around. You are part of this universe. You are made of the same creativity, the same intelligence, the same love. When you align within, when your thoughts, your words, and your choices start to agree with the truth that you are worthy, that you are loved, that you are capable, you begin to feel held by something larger than your personal willpower. You still take action, you still make phone calls, you still do your work, but there is a different music under your steps. There is less panic, more trust, less "I must" and "I should," more "I choose" and "I am guided." From that place, let us gently plant one new idea together, like a seed in your beautiful subconscious garden. You can say it quietly if you like, or just let me say it for you. As I align within, life aligns with me. Let it settle for a moment. And again, a little slower, allowing the words to sink deeper. As I align within, life aligns with me. One more time, as a promise from your heart to your life. As I align within, life aligns with me. You do not have to force yourself to believe it perfectly today. You only need to be willing to let it grow. So the next time something happens that feels like a disturbance, a delay, a misunderstanding, a change of plans, I want you to remember this harmony map we have been drawing together. Before you rush to blame yourself or blame the world, pause and return to the inside first. Ask softly, can I accept that this is what is happening right now? If you can, even a little bit, you have already stepped out of inner war. Then ask, what good can I harvest here? What can I learn, adjust, or see more clearly because of this? And finally, what can I release for today into life's capable hands? As you practice this again and again, you will begin to notice a sense of companionship with the universe. You will feel less like a person who must control every detail and more like a person who is being gently guided, corrected, and blessed along the way. Harmony is not a destination you arrive at once. It is a relationship you deepen with yourself and with life. Every loving thought you think, every time you forgive, every time you drop an old story and choose a kinder one, you are aligning. And every time you align, life has a fresh chance to align with you. Harmony, my dear, does not mean lying on the couch and saying, well, if the universe wants it, it will come and knock on my door. Harmony is not a spiritual excuse for being stuck. Harmony is the place inside you where you stop fighting with what is, and from that calmer place, you take loving, intelligent action. Think of it this way. When you are in inner conflict, every step you take feels like dragging a heavy bag behind you. You are doing the work, but your mind is arguing, complaining, predicting disaster. When you begin to live in harmony with yourself, you might be doing exactly the same task. But now your energy is not split. Your mind and your heart are walking in the same direction. The outer effort may look similar, but the inner experience is completely different. You still make phone calls, you still apply for the job, you still say no to what is wrong for you and yes to what feels right, but you are not fighting life with every breath. You and life are beginning to walk side by side. Harmony is not, I sit and wait for miracles and do nothing. Harmony is, I do my part with love, and I let life do its part. Imagine for a moment that life is like a great river and you are in a little boat. If you sit there and refuse to pick up the oar, you will spin in circles and bump into the rocks. That is passivity, not spirituality. But if you take your oar and begin to fight the current, straining, cursing, demanding that the river flow backwards, that is another way of suffering. In one case, you abandon your power. In the other, you exhaust yourself trying to control what is not yours to control. Harmony is the third way. Harmony is when you pick up the oar and you say, all right, river, I see which way you are going. I will work with you, not against you. I will steer. I will adjust. I will show up. You still row. You still sweat a little. You still get stronger in the process, but you are not at war with the direction of the water. In your daily life, this looks like saying, yes, this is the job I have right now. I may not love everything about it, but I can show up with integrity while I also look for something better. It looks like saying, yes, this relationship has problems. I accept that this is where we are. And from here, I choose whether to have an honest conversation, to seek help, or to lovingly walk away. You see, when you stop using your energy to argue with reality, you suddenly have energy available to change reality. Effort is still there, but the unnecessary struggle begins to fall away. You can feel the difference in your body very clearly. When you act from fight, your jaw tightens, your shoulders rise, your stomach clenches. Your mind spins with, what if it fails? What if I look foolish? What if nothing ever changes? You are taking action, but every step is wrapped in fear and self-criticism. From that state, even if you get the result you thought you wanted, you arrive there exhausted and suspicious, already wondering when it will disappear. When you act from flow, there may still be butterflies, but underneath them, there is a quiet sense of, yes, this is the next right thing for me. Your breath is a little deeper. Your thoughts are a little kinder. You encourage yourself instead of attacking yourself. You say, I am learning instead of I am failing. The outer behavior may be as simple as making that phone call you've been avoiding, tidying a corner of your home, trying a new habit for 10 minutes, or finally saying no to something that drains you. The difference is that now you are not trying to prove your worth with every action. You are expressing your worth through those actions. You are no longer using work, success, or other people's opinions as a courtroom. You are letting them be what they are. Places to grow, to contribute, to experience, not places to prove that you are allowed to exist. That is what I mean when I say effort can be present, but struggle does not have to be. I would like you to begin noticing very gently where you still believe you must fight to earn your right to be here. Perhaps you pushed your body past its limits because you learned that rest is laziness. Perhaps you over-explain every boundary because you believe you must convince everyone that you are allowed to say no. Perhaps you stay in situations long after your heart has whispered, this is not for us anymore, because you think leaving peacefully is the same as giving up. In harmony, we do something different. We listen to the message, we accept that it is here, and then we take the smallest loving action we can find. We honor our needs without turning life into an enemy. If a habit is harming you, harmony does not mean saying, oh well, this is just who I am. Harmony means saying, I see this pattern, I accept that it exists, and from love, I choose to take one step today in a new direction. When you spill milk on the floor, you don't stand there for hours arguing that it shouldn't have happened. You simply say, all right, it's here, and you wipe it up. You can treat your mistakes the same way. Acknowledge them, learn from them, clean them up as best you can, and move on. We do not need to punish ourselves in order to grow. We need to work with ourselves. Think of the phrase no struggle, not as no work, but as no inner war. You may still have long days. You may still feel tired sometimes. You may still stretch beyond your comfort zone. The difference is that you are no longer shouting at yourself while you do it. You are on your own side. Instead of saying, you idiot, why didn't you do this earlier? You say, I'm proud of you for doing this now. Instead of saying, if I don't fix this immediately, everything will be ruined, you say, I will do what I can from where I am, and I will let life meet me halfway. This change in tone is not soft and unrealistic. It is powerful and very practical. A mind at war cannot see options. A mind in harmony can. From a peaceful state, you will think of creative solutions you could not access when you were panicking. From a peaceful state, you will have the courage to make that phone call, to say that honest sentence, to close that chapter, to open a new one. You are not becoming passive. You are becoming precise. You are moving from pushing against everything to choosing the few actions that truly matter. And as you practice this, my dear, I want you to begin to say, quietly inside yourself, especially when you feel the old struggle rising, I can act from peace. I can act from peace. I can act from peace. Not from panic, not from self-hatred, not from the need to prove anything, just from peace. Let that be your gentle reminder that harmony and action belong together. You can be a person who shows up fully in life and also sleeps at night. You can make decisions, set boundaries, change directions, and still feel held by something kind and wise within you. Effort still exists. You will still plant the seeds, water the garden, answer the emails, care for the children, build the business, heal the body. But the constant, grinding struggle, I'm never enough, it's never enough, life is against me, that part we are willing to lay down now. We are learning to let our actions grow out of self-respect instead of self-rejection. We are learning to let our work be an expression of love, not a weapon we use on ourselves. We are learning that harmony with life begins with harmony with our own hearts. As we come to the end of our time together, my dear, I want to leave you with something so simple that your heart can actually use it in the middle of real life. Every day, when something happens that you did not plan, did not expect, or did not want, you can quietly walk yourself through one gentle loop. First, accept the fact, yes, this is here now. Not arguing, not fighting, just acknowledging reality. Then, harvest the good. What is this teaching me about my strength, my needs, my power, my direction? Even the smallest insight is a treasure. And finally, release the rest. I don't have to carry the whole story, only the wisdom. When you live this way, you are no longer against yourself. You are on your own side. You become a friend to your own life. This is what it means to live in harmony with yourself. And when you do, you will begin to feel the universe softening, opening, responding. Now let these words echo gently inside you 3 times in your own way. I am in harmony with myself. I trust the rhythm of life. Life supports me.